Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome to our class. Class on weekly off with working capital topic. Okay, so now we discuss on working capital investment policy. Okay, working capital investment policy. Okay, working capital investment policy. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, as we have been mentioning, as a company, you may have to consider, or rather, there are three policies you can adopt as a company. Of course,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Your screen is completely blurry.
What's happening?
Is it just me or?
Is it the case to all of you, Brian?
Yeah, I can't see it as well. It's blurry.
Is it better now? I don't know. Just trying to see ways.
Yeah, it's better now.
It's better now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're discussing that when it comes to the investment, when it comes to the investment, the policies the company can adopt when it comes to the working capital investment. There are three of them. Okay, which I'll discuss right now. Okay. So the first policy is called the conservative policy. Okay, it's called the conservative policy. The idea is simply we're going back to the two core objectives of working capital, which I think we have already discussed, which was on liquidity and profit making. Okay. So when it comes to if the company is going pursuing more of profit as opposed to liquidity, then of course they're going to follow in a very distinct policy. If the company follow more of profit, okay, more of liquidity than profit side, then they're going to be adopting a very distinct policy. Okay, so if the company want to balance the two, then they also be following a very distinct policy. Okay, so the policy that we'll be having here is simply get it on what is the intention. Okay, among the two objectives, which one is the company pursuing more of? Okay. For example, in the case of the conservative policy, okay, this is where the company is going to be, as the name suggesting, the company is going conservative, okay? So the company is going to try as much as possible to minimize the risk of the system, okay? The risk of the inventory, the risk of receivable, the risk of so all payables, okay? So for instance, when it comes to the inventory, the company is going to be adopting a policy where they want to be careful with the amount of inventory that they're going to be ordering from the suppliers. Okay. Now, what that means that there will be, for example, okay, when it comes to the inventory, they're going to be keeping more inventory than maybe what is necessary, maybe to take advantage, to avoid, okay, the chances of risk of stock out, okay. So the company therefore be having a case where the inventory investment is a bit high, okay. Why do they have high inventory? For instance, to avoid the stock out risk, if just in case the supplier delays in delivering the goods, okay. When it comes to the receivable, the customers, when it comes to their customer, the company is going to be in quote a bit more generous with the customer. They want to make the sale. They don't want to in quote, okay, annoy the customers. Now, what that means therefore is that they're going to be there for having a case where we have a high investment towards the account receivable. Okay, high investment towards the account receivable. When it comes to the payable, they want to ensure they are in good terms, okay, with their suppliers. And of course, don't forget that to be in good terms with suppliers, what does it mean? It means you pay suppliers on time. Okay. Therefore, this company does not delay paying suppliers. Therefore, they have a low amount of payables investment. Okay. Taking all this into account, that we have high inventory, you have high receivable, okay, you have low payables, okay, net position. What is the net position? You're going to have therefore a high working capital investment. So this company therefore will be having high working capital investment, okay. Which means therefore, since you are tying down your capital, okay, okay, now what does that mean? Okay, don't forget, if you have high excessive, okay, if you have high investment in inventory, okay, in the receivable, don't forget this asset yield very minimal returns. They yield very minimal returns, which implies therefore the company is more concerned towards ensuring that they can be able to they are solvent, okay, not that they're solvent. the company therefore going to have a case where they're going to have they'll be holding assets that yield very minimal returns. Therefore, the company profit therefore is getting put in jeopardy. Don't forget, as we mentioned, the more liquid an investment is, the more liquid an investment is, the lower the returns it is yielding. And the more so, if you're going to having an investment towards the non-current asset, the better off, because those are the ones that yield, those are the productive assets. Therefore, here the company profit is therefore going to be destroyed. Where the company having a high investment towards working capital. Then the company may also follow an aggressive policy. Aggressive policy, of course, is the opposite of what you've just mentioned. The aggressive working capital policy. In this case, an aggressive policy, will mean that the company will want to assume that high risk levels. As they want to have life in the quote on the first lane. If you use those terms. So here the company, therefore, they're going to be only be keeping what is the required inventory. If they require only 10 units, they keep 10 units. They don't have a case of buffer stock. When it comes to a customer, they're going to be selling to customer only when it's necessary on credit. They're only going to be selling to the customers on cash if it is going necessary. So, but generally they avoid making a sale to customer on credit. So they only, for example, have only sales on cash. And the only time they sell on credit is if it's necessary. That's the case of the aggressive. The same applies to the case of the payables. Now these companies, if they can in quote squeeze something from the supplier, they'll do that. By that I mean that if it is possible for the company to pay suppliers at the end of 6 months as opposed to the agreed time of 3 months, they'll do that. They will do that. That's the problem. We have a case where the company delay paying the suppliers too much. And if this happens, then what does it mean? It means that the company has a low investment, a high investment. Or suppliers, they'll be investing too much money towards the company. One of the key examples could be a case of we had the case of Tuskys, where they were paying the suppliers way late, as opposed to the agreement. The agreement being, for instance, if the agreement is 3 months, or maybe 1 month, they don't pay supplier on time. They delay paying the supplier intentionally. They delay paying the suppliers. Don't forget, the suppliers become part and parcel of the financing. The trade credit is part of the financing of the company. So that is one of the ways that these companies, attempts, in quote, to try to delay paying suppliers on time, with the intention, of trying to get them to finance the company operations. That's a company following an aggressive policy, a company that is following an aggressive policy. Now, we also have a case where the company may be following all the court. Now, in the case of aggressive policy, just to make a comment, in the case of aggressive policy, so the company is trying as much as possible to minimize the amount it is investing towards their customer, towards the inventory. So it's more or less going to therefore result to an increase in company profit. But the company is minimizing, the amount that they are going to be investing when it comes to investing in the inventory, in the customers, delaying suppliers' payment. So all these are geared towards increasing the company profit. How is that the case? Don't forget, the company is minimizing having high investment in unproductive assets. I think you mentioned that already. Then you can have a case where the company is going to mix those two. A case where we do have a mix of those two. We have some extent, some components of working capital, they seem to be aggressive. Other components, the company seem to be a bit conservative. So it's a mix of those two approaches. In quote, there's no clear-cut approach, clear-cut policy, that the company is following. That's the case of the moderate policy. It's a mix of the two. Sometimes referred to as a matching policy. Sometimes referred to as matching policy. For example, in the case of the inventory, the company would want to keep buffer. Or therefore, if the company is keeping buffer, then they're a bit conservative. They show they're following the conservative policy. If the company is having delay paying their suppliers, the same company, a delay paying the suppliers, the company is following an aggressive policy. So it's a mix of two. There's going to be an aggressive policy, and the same way there's going to be a conservative policy. The next bit, so that's all is on working capital. Fine, that's on working capital investment policy. 3 of them. hope we can able to discuss the three of them. Okay, aggressive, conservative, and moderate policy. Okay, those are three policies the company can follow because we have to discuss them, by the way. Okay, there's a question that we're going to go through together where the exam is asking you to discuss the working capital investment policy, the three working capital investment policy. Now, what about financing policies?
So what happens to the profit
In this, which case?
in the moderate approach?
It's going to be a mix of the two. Okay, so, it's going to be a mix of the two. It's going to be in between the two policies. Okay, don't forget in the case of aggressive policy, we say that they gave me an increase in profit, isn't it? In the case of conservative policy, there's going to be reduction in the profit. Okay. Now, in the case of the moderate policy, is going since it has a mix of those two, the profit therefore is going to be a mix of those two also. Okay, it's not going to be high, it's not going to be low, so it's going to be a mix of those two. It's going to be in between the profit achieved by the two policies, the aggressive and the conservative. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now you have what we call the working capital financing policies. Working capital financing policies. Now there are three of them. Okay, actually. Okay, the terms are the same. Okay, we have conservative policy, conservative financing policy, aggressive financing policy, and we have moderate or matching financing policy. So they're the same policies. Okay, however, the names are the same, but they're different, of course. One is about investment, one is about financing. Okay. Now, when it comes to deciding on which policy the company will be following, okay, the same question now to be asked is about what is going to be the risk attitude of the management. Okay, so this is the term. What's the risk attitude of the management? Okay, are the management more of risk takers? Okay, because if they are going to be risk takers, okay, like you've seen the case of the investment policy, if you have managers who are going more of risk takers, then they're going to be having a very low investment when it comes to working capital. Okay, the case of the aggressive policy. Okay, as the name suggests, aggressiveness. Okay, the same is going to apply here. That when it comes to financing the company working capital needs, okay, the firm will be the policy that is going to be followed by the firm is based on the risk attitude, the risk appetite of the management. Okay, what's the risk attitude? What's the risk appetite of the management? Okay. If they're going to be risk takers, that means they're going to be using aggressive financing policy. If they're going to be managers who are more of risk shy in quote, okay, they'll be following therefore a conservative policy. Okay, and of course, in case they're going to be some area they finance a bit more aggressive, other areas a bit conservative, they use therefore a matching policy. Okay. Now the question is that between long-term and short-term, okay, between financing using long-term financials and short-term financials, which is more risky? Well, the choice here of financing is there to use long-term or to have short-term. So my question is that between long-term and short-term, which one is more risky?
Short-term?
Sorry?
Short-term?
Short-term, yes. Short-term finances is more risky, okay? Why is it more risky? Okay, you can draw a simple graph here. If, for example, you have here is short-term, this is long-term. Let's use here long-term, and this is short-term. Okay, for instance, in the case of long-term, assume that you want to finance for 5 years, okay, and they're both paying fixed. This is 1 year, this is 2 years, this is 5 years, okay. You want to finance, the need for company is for 5 years. So they can either take a long-term loan for 5 years or a short-term loan of 1 year, okay. So they'll be taking here 5 individual loans here, okay. So here, for example, if the agreement is that they pay an interest of 10%, okay, per annum. Now here, since this is a 1 year loan, they'll be taking 5 individual loans for year 1, for year 2, for year 3, for year 4, for year 5. Okay, so the main post fixed. Here, the loan they pay, for example, they pay a fixed of let's say 10%. They pay a fixed of let's say 8%. But they're different loans. Don't forget, they pay a loan of let's say 11%. Okay, they pay in here let's say 13%, and maybe let's say 7%. Okay. So the interest they're paying, the interest the company is paying, okay, if they take a long term is 5%, it's 10% per annum, okay. If they take a 1 year loan, it fluctuates in short, okay, 10, 8, 11, 13, 7, okay. Maybe even if the average, I don't know what's the average here, but assume the average here is still 10%, okay. That on average basis, it is the same interest, 10%. However, don't forget what we refer to as volatility, okay, which I think we did mention previously, okay, that here we have a higher volatility. Here, the variance is 0 because the mean is 10%, the interest is 10%. So the variance here is 0. But here, okay, there's a variance here because it's from 10 to 8 to 11 to 13. There's a deviation, okay? The values are deviating from the mean, okay? For example, okay, here 10 is 10, so there's no deviation, but here there's a deviation. Use a different ink. I can get it. Okay, so here is 10, so here is 11, here is 13, which is here is 7, which is different from the mean. So here you have a risk, okay? Therefore, you can see here, the short-term loans, okay, they are more risky than the long-term loans because here it is 10% throughout, okay, 10% throughout, okay. So if a company is be financing, therefore, its need using short-term, then they're going to be exposing themselves to high risk, okay, to a bit of high risk, high volatility, that the interest might deviate from the mean, in this case, 10%. Okay, so here the interest, the variance is equal to 0, for instance. Okay, the risk is very minimal. Okay, if you have to use the long-term financials. Okay, but me therefore, managers who are going to be aggressive, okay, managers who are going to be aggressive, okay, they will be adopting the aggressive financing policy. They'll be financed using short-term financials, okay. Managers who are going to be a bit conservative, they are going to be risk shy. They'll be financed using long-term financials, okay. Okay, that's what we here. That here, the short-term finances, okay, they are going to have renewal risk. And by renewal risk, okay, let's call the renewal risk. We just mentioned renewal risk. The chance that maybe there's no here, don't forget, there's no obligation on the side of the bank that at the end of year 1, they're going to loan you another loan year 2. There's no guarantee. That could be what we call renewal risk, okay? That you may want to go at the end of year 1 to renew the contract, the 1-year contract, and the bank refuses. It can happen. Okay, that may be a renewal risk. It's high in case you do take a short-term loan. And of course, they're unstable interest rates, okay, which I think I already discussed here in the case of the short-term loans. It's a bit unstable, up and down, okay, compared to the case of the long-term loans. Clear? Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
so which one is like better?
Which one is better? Okay, it's you as a company to consider what objective are you pursuing. Okay, so you can't say that there's one that is better than the other. It's depending on what objective you're pursuing as a company. Okay, if you have high chance of being able to absorb the risk, okay, then short-term is better. Okay. Okay, if you have high capacity of being able to absorb the risk, then short-term might be better. Okay, in terms of cost, this is cheaper. Okay, the short-term is cheaper in terms of risk. Okay, in terms of cost. Okay, in the terms of cost, this is a bit more expensive. Okay, the long-term is a bit more expensive. Okay, if you look from that angle. Okay, however, they have own advantages. As you can see here, the risk is high, the risk here is low. It is more expensive, but it has low risk. You can see it's a balance. You have to know which one, which objective are you pursuing more? Is it liquidity or is it more of profit? Okay, the two objectives, there's no one that is stronger than the other. Okay, I hope that's the thing. Okay, there's no one that is better than the other. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Now, when it comes to financing of working capital, okay, we may want to know that the current assets or the working capital investment, we can have 3 distinctions. Okay, so this one I don't discuss because what is okay, this one non-current assets. Okay, that one I think we discussed in accounting. So when it comes to the working capital or when it comes to current assets, okay, we can make a distinction of two. We can classify the current assets, the working capital, into 2 components. One is called the permanent, okay, and the other one is called seasonal, okay, permanent or seasonal. Okay. Now the permanent, okay, is the minimum amount of investment the company must make towards its working capital over a given time period. Okay, what's the minimum investment? Okay, if for instance it's about month, okay, month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. Okay, so here you invest 1,000 in month 1, 1,500 in month 2, 600 in month 3, and that's 1,600 in month 4. The minimum within that time period of 4 months is 600, isn't it? There was 600, therefore become the permanent working capital. Okay, is a minimum amount of working capital the company invests over a given time period. Okay, for this example, therefore, the 600 becomes therefore the minimum, which is therefore the permanent working capital for each of the month. The seasonal working capital, seasonal or sometimes referred to as the fluctuating okay, working capital is extra over and above that minimum. Okay. For instance, on the first month, the total investment is 1,000. The minimum 600. Therefore, the extra, which in this case is 400, is therefore the fluctuating. In month 2, total investment is 1,500. The minimum will remain at 600, which means therefore the extra, which in this case is 900, becomes therefore the fluctuating working capital. In month 3, it's 0. In month 4, it's 1,000. Okay. The key distinction between permanent working capital and the seasonal or the fluctuating working capital. Permanent is a minimum of a given time period, minimum working capital required over a given time period. Okay, seasonal or the fluctuating is extra over and above that minimum. Okay, clear? Okay. The fluctuating, I think I've mentioned that, okay, is the amount in excess of the permanent, okay, the amount in excess of that permanent, okay, like you've just done there from the first month to the fourth month, okay. Permanent was 600. Anything above, any investment above the 600 is what we refer to as the temporal or the fluctuating or the seasonal current assets. Clear on the current asset distinction or the classification? Okay, it's clear. Let's do a question here. So let's do a question here. So here is required. So here it is required. Prepare a schedule showing the permanent, the temporal, okay, working capital for each of the day. So here the time is number of days. Okay. So I'll do that in the next 1 minute, of course. Very easy. Okay. So in this example, was the seasonal for Monday. Brian.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that 5,000.
Yes, that 5,000. Yes, it is. Okay, Daisy, what is the seasonal for Tuesday? Daisy, seasonal for Tuesday. Hey, Daisy, are you in class? Hey, Nafisa, what do you have for Tuesday?
37,000.
That's 7,000. That's 7,000. Okay. Sakina,
But
what do you
sir,
have? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sakina, what do you have for Wednesday?
32,000.
That's 2,000. Okay. You've got 40,000 minus 8,000. Okay. Do you have someone else here? Sanya, what do you have for Friday, Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday.
4.
Okay. 4,000.
Wait, sorry, 36.
That's 6. Yes, that's
I
6,000.
thought, yeah, okay.
Which is equal to 44,000 minus 8,000 to give us therefore the 6,000. And on Friday, we have 0 being the seasonal. Okay. Don't forget the permanent is 8,000. Okay. Each of the day. That's the minimum 8,000 throughout. Okay. The extra, okay, which is referred to as therefore the fluctuating or the seasonal working capital. Great. Yes.
I have a question. Is seasonal and fluctuating the same thing?
Sorry there.
Is seasonal and fluctuating the same thing?
Yes, seasonal, temporary, fluctuating. It's one the same thing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. We said can follow three financing policies, okay, aggressive policy, conservative policy, and the matching policy, okay. And I say that it's purely dependent on the risk attitude of the management. Okay, the one in charge of making these financing decisions. Okay, if again be people are a bit more aggressive, they are more of risk takers, then of course they follow aggressive policy. Okay, if you're going to be having cases where the managers are more risk shy, okay, then of course they follow therefore the conservative policy. And if they do follow a mix of the two, okay, they finance using long term, they finance using short term, okay, they mix the two of them, then they follow therefore what referred to as the matching policy or the moderate policy. Okay, let's look at the first one, the aggressive policy. Okay. And the aggressive policy, it involves the use of, as you mentioned, the company will be financing its working capital needs using more of aggressive policy, using more of short-term financials. Why? They are more risky, but they're cheaper. Don't forget, okay? They are more risky, but they're cheaper, okay? The company, therefore, will be following this policy, okay, with the intention of trying to increase its profits, okay? Why? Because the short-term finance, you said, is cheaper. Therefore, the financing cost is low, okay? That means that for the company is pursuing more of profit orientation. Okay, it's more towards the profit side. Okay, that's the case of the short-term finance source. Okay, now how do they finance? Most of the company working capital, okay, will be financed with short-term borrowing. So more or less, actually all of them, okay, here's it's only that I've gone into detail, but either way, most of the company temporal current assets as well as the permanent current assets, they'll be financed using the short-term borrowing, okay. In short, therefore, the company working capital needs is going to be financed through the use of short-term borrowing, okay. Through the use of short-term borrowing, okay. The company finances its need using short-term finance sources, okay. For the long term, okay, don't forget for non-current assets, the finance is in long term, okay. Very unlikely it will happen that they finance using short-term finance, but they can do so, okay. But they are very unlikely that the company will finance its fixed assets using the short-term finance sources. Okay? Either way, as you mentioned, the company seem to pursue more of profit side. Okay, they ignore the liquidity, they ignore the risk of liquidity. Okay, because don't forget, since or due to the high risk of renewal risk, which I think you have mentioned, as well as the chance that there's going to be since due to the high risk of renewal risk, then of course there's going as well as the frequent repayment of loans. Don't forget, if you do take a 1 year loan, then every year you pay the loan. Okay, or every year you have to go to the bank and try to attempt to renegotiate the bank to extend the loan to at 1 year next year loan. Either way, you're going to be taking a different loan contract altogether. Okay, so there's a risk that the company will be having. Okay, that frequent repayment of the interest plus a loan every year at the end of the year, as the 1 year loan matures. Okay, pose a high risk of liquidity. Okay, don't forget in case of a 5 year loan. Okay, if for example the interest is paid at the end at the maturity point, okay, then this company, for a 5 year loan, they pay the loan in year 5. Therefore, in year 1, there's no any concern where the money will come from, because the only thing you're paying is the interest. There's no any principal repayment. Okay, year 2, year 3, year 4. The concern will be in year 5. Okay, on the concern is only once in quote. Okay. In the case of a 1 year loan, don't forget you'll be concerned every year. At the end of the year, do you have the money to pay the loan? Every year, do you have the money to pay the loan? Okay, that's what remember here. It has a high risk of liquidity. Okay, it has a high risk of renewal. Okay, therefore there is a high risk. However, don't forget it's cheaper. Therefore, they will be having more profit in that on the other hand. Okay, more risk but more profit. You earn more profit, but you're going to be incurring more risk. Okay. Is that clear? Okay, in short, the company working capital needs are financed using short-term finance source. Okay. As we mentioned, they're going to increase the profit. As we mentioned, don't forget, because this short-term finance, okay, it is much cheaper compared to the case of long-term. However, there's more liquidity risk. Okay, they can mention that. Okay, there's more risk of liquidity. Okay, question. All clear on the aggressive policy? Okay, see, it was clear. Then you have called the conservative policy, okay, and as we mentioned, don't forget this is going to be pursued by company that are in quote risk shy, okay, those company that they don't want to expose the company to high risk of liquidity, okay. What that means therefore they're going to be using long-term financials to finance their working capital needs as opposed to the use of the short-term finance sources, okay, as opposed to the use of the short-term finance sources, okay. That's the company that is going to follow an aggressive policy. Don't forget the use of long-term financials. Okay, it has less risk of liquidity, but it is more expensive. Okay, it has less risk of liquidity. However, it is more expensive. Don't forget. Okay, therefore, it's going to have a dent on the company profit. Okay, it's going to have a dent on the company profit. Okay, so that's the case of the long-term finance. Okay, it's going to be low risk of liquidity. However, there's going to be a huge dent when it comes to the profit. Okay, the profit company therefore is going to or will be a bit low. Okay. Therefore, the financing of the company, the financing of the working capital needs of the company will occur as follow. Okay, will occur as follow. That the company, more or less, the largest portion of the company working capital needs, okay, or even all of it, 100% of the company working capital needs will be financed using long-term financials, okay. The largest portion of the company working capital need, or 100% of the company working capital needs will be financed using long-term finance, okay, and of course for the case of the permanent, okay, fixed assets, the finance using long-term borrowing, okay. So the company working capital needs are financed using the long-term finance sources or long-term borrowings. Okay, that's the case of the conservative policy, the case of the conservative policy. Sakina, it's clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that's on the conservative policy. I hope it's clear because we'll be asked to discuss these policies. Okay, I'm going to discuss the different working capital policy and discuss the different working capital investment policy. Okay, this is a question that the examiner had asked in the past for 9 marks. Okay, so I hope it's clear and you can be able to make hold a discussion on it. Of course, as mentioned, what the implication, what the impact, okay, is that there'll be low profit since due to the high interest the company is paid, they're giving a low profit the company is be earning. Okay, so the profit is going to be dented. However, there's going to be since this is long term, the risk of liquidity is a bit low. Okay, because your finance is using long term sort of finance. Okay, therefore there is low risk of liquidity. Okay. However, we have a high chance of company making low profits. Why? Because their finance using finance source that is a bit expensive. The long-term finance sources. Clear? Nafisa, it's clear?
Yes, sir.
Then you have the next policy. It's called the margin policy. Okay, the margin policy, and this is going to mix of those two. Okay, where some portion of the company working capital are financed using the long term. Some other portions are financed using the short term. Okay, for instance, maybe the company may want to finance the company. The company seasonal or the fluctuating working capital using the short term, okay, use the short term financials, okay, and financing its permanent as well as the fixed assets using the long term, okay. So you can see that the working capital of the company working capital is being financed by 2 components, okay. Permanent are financed using long term, seasonal are financed using the short term finance sources. Is a mix of the two, okay. Would imply therefore the the exposure towards the risk of liquidity is in between the two also. Okay, it's a matching policy. Okay, and not too high, not too low. Okay, when it comes to the profit, okay, the company same is happening. The company is not trying will not achieve the high profit like if it was to do the aggressive policy. However, if the profit is not going to as low as if the company was to use the conservative policy. Okay, so it will be a mix of the two. Okay, is a matching policy. Okay, so therefore the profit will be in between the two of the two policies. The liquidity risk of liquidity is in between the two policies. Okay, is use of the matching policy. Matching finance using the permanent working capital, the permanent current asset using the long term, and the seasonal, okay, or the fluctuating current assets, they're being financed by short-term finance sources. Okay, it's a mix of those two. Clear? Okay, and those are the three policies you can follow when it comes to financing of the company working capital needs. And that's marks here of working capital as a topic. As you can see, it's a very wide topic, okay, which I think we have been discussing for, I think, almost 1.5 weeks. Okay, it's quite an extensive topic. Okay, so as I told you, don't forget it will be there in the exam. Okay, either as a section C question or a section B type of question. Okay, so it's worth enough that you do prepare how to answer some of these questions. Clear? Brian, any question on that topic?
None so far.
Okay, great. Okay. So that's therefore marks the head of the matching policy, head of working capital as a topic. Okay. Now I don't want to begin the new topic. Okay, the new topic will be on appraisal of investment, another core topic. Okay, appraisal of investment. And by the way, now we need to do our cut. Okay, we need to do our cut. Okay. Since this is almost a third of the syllabus, okay, so forward, but once we mark the head of working capital, we have covered almost a third of the syllabus, okay, so I think it's worth enough now we do our cut one, okay. When are we meant to do the cuts? Is it on Fridays?
Yes, sir, Fridays.
On
That's
Friday?
what on the timetable.
Okay. So this Fridays. Can we do it next Friday? Can we do a cut on next Friday?
Yeah, next Friday sounds better.
Okay. Yeah, so prepare yourself. Yes.
I won't be able to do it next Friday.
Whoa, okay. Why?
Why?
The entire day? You can't.
Yeah, I'll be traveling, so.
Okay. So which other day are you guys free? Anyway, let's do it on Friday. What I'll do is this Sakina.
Yes.
Okay, I think we shall organize. I'll organize with you when you can do it. I think for the others, then you can do it on Friday.
Yes,
so,
sir.
So on Friday,
can you please then send the videos that you haven't so that we revise over the weekend?
Yeah, I'll try to. Yes, I'll do that. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or on Friday. I'll try to do that.
Sir, also, what about the classes that were supposed to happen on Wednesdays during the morning?
Yes. Now, there's some of you who have not confirmed. Brian being one of them, because I asked you to. I need a confirmation from all of you, because Brian has not confirmed, I guess. So
yeah, it's okay.
But Brian is here.
Brian, is it okay to have the class on tomorrow from when is it? Is it from 8 to when? Is it? I know from 10 to 12, I guess.
10 to 12 is fine, yes. So
you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's someone else who has not confirmed, because not all of us has confirmed.
The other person who had problems, they were saying they had a problem with Thursday because most of us had selected Thursday and they said they have a class. Okay, I don't know their name though.
Because
are they here?
I don't know.
I think
is Elvin.
I think that was Elvin. Yeah.
There's Elvin and this. So I want to get confirmation from all of you, because we don't want.
They agreed though.
And I only got 5 confirmation as per the message I saw on WhatsApp. So I will ask, I think Sanya, you can try to get confirmation from the rest. Okay, now we are 6 because they are because Brian has confirmed, but I think there are 2 more who need to confirm.
Okay, let me just check.
Yeah.
So for me, tomorrow, I don't know about tomorrow because I'm in Tanzania and there's elections tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the rumor is going around that the network will be cut off.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
don't know
Yeah. So actually,
about me.
yeah. So tomorrow we can't have it. I think we can plan with next week on Wednesday. Next week on Wednesday. That should be the idea. So get confirmation, okay. Sanya, I will give you that task. So get confirmation from the other two, who I don't know who it is. I think the other two, okay. Once you have it, then email Christine. Then I think she'll be able to allocate for us the class.
Okay, so I will have to email her or you will do that?
Because I don't want this to come from my side. I don't want to have issues with the registration. Yeah. So
Will
because
she listen to us though?
yeah, if you tell her that I'm okay with it, the proposal, you can also CC me in the email.
Okay, fine. All right. Okay, I will.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do that.
Yes, you CC me in the email so that she can also see that I concur with what your proposal.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So in the meantime, I want us to